Welcome, guys. JHouze Radio, episode 57. Appreciate you guys stopping by. We got a few topics that we want to touch base on today. One is definitely going to be doing a deep dive into some historical Black filmmakers. It's Black History Month still, so we want to jump into some of our inspirations as far as directors, actors,
Yes.
producers, and just Black films in general. And yeah, it's going to be a really interesting topic today. But Beaky, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Appreciate you stopping by on the Twitch side of things. Anybody who's listening to the audio version of this podcast, you can watch the show live on Twitch and YouTube. The link will be in the show notes. You guys can interact with the show, be a part of the conversation, and sometimes sway the conversation. You can help Los push things off track as he always does, which he is the man for. I am KJ.
I just have a lot of knowledge, It's mostly useless, but a lot of knowledge.
A lot of knowledge is always useful, even if you consider it useless. I'm your fearless leader, K to the J, KJ for many people, sexy black man for some, and I am joined by thou who shall be named, my boy Los. How's it going, man? How you been?
It's going good.
What you been up to the past few days, man? What's new?
My in-laws. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, what you been up to? What's new?
My girlfriend's birthday was yesterday, so
nice. Happy birthday to the missus. Everybody in chat and everybody in the comments, leave happy birthdays for Los's girlfriend, please. Much appreciated.
yes, happy birthday to Kira. My lovely girlfriend. She wanted to kind of celebrate a day early, so she wanted to go to that All-American Mall, the one that is by where the Giants play, the stadium.
Oh yeah. I've always wanted to go there. Never went there.
That place is huge.
Really?
Huge.
Never went there before.
They have 2 mini golf courses. They have an indoor water park. They have
Wow.
What else do they have? They have like all these attractions there. They have a supermarket opening up.
Wait.
Starbucks is about to make it there.
There's a supermarket in a mall?
In a mall.
That's
There's
crazy.
a Toys R Us there.
There's a Toys R Us? There's still a Toys R Us open? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to go there. Just because of the Toys R Us.
The Toys R Us kind of reminds you of like a fancy Five Below.
Okay.
It's not that great, but at the same time, it's Toys R Us.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
So the Toys R Us there. There's like all this stuff over there. Like, there's an ice skating ring inside the mall.
Wow. I'm actually surprised like a mall of that magnitude is still around, considering how so many malls have closed ever since COVID hit. People I think it started happening before COVID hit. Malls just started closing all over the place.
Yeah, because of online shopping. But what this mall is kind of like a hybrid. It's a mall / entertainment center. Understand? So
True.
You can bring a date to go ice skating and then go to dinner. There's a bar over there. You can do mini golf, go to dinner, go shopping, this, that, and everything. It's a way different.
I'm gonna have to check this out. What is this mall called again?
I think it's called the All-American Mall.
I'm gonna have to go there. I've never been there. Beaky in chat said, "Did you take pictures?" I'm guessing
Only
of the
a
mall.
couple, because we plan to go back in 2 or 3 weeks. We're gonna go do the Angry Birds mini golf.
What? You know what we should do? We should double date. So me and my girl, you and your girl, we should go.
Bro, I'm down.
Let's do it.
Let's
do it. Because I've never gone before, and you said mini golf. I love mini golf. I'm in there. Have you been playing, watching, or listening to anything, Los? What's your PWL for this week, man? Or I guess if you want, I can go first since you just.
Yeah, go ahead. Go first.
Listening to, I haven't been listening to much of anything, and what is up? Well, actually, no, I'm lying. I'm listening to things, but I'm listening to a lot of random things. I'm checking out different soundtracks. I'm checking out a lot of indie artists that I haven't like heard of before. Right now, I'm listening to Brian Altano. He's a writer for the IGN company. They do news coverage on games and media, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm just checking out just so many different artists, man. Definitely check out Brian Altano. He does a lot of his music doesn't have lyrics. It's just different sounds, different melodies, different moods. and things like that. If you're into that kind of thing. So as far as like anything in particular, I don't have any set thing that I'm listening to. Music is just not hitting me like it used to. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just not hitting me. Are you kind of in that same boat right now, or
Well, music, I'm kind of digging through house music.
okay?
My thing is, I don't like reggaeton at all. I kind of think it's very, how can I explain this?
Stereotypical.
I just don't, I don't like it. You
You don't
know, I
like
don't like it. I just kind of feel like a lot of like reggaeton in the beginning. I may not have liked it, but at the very least, like you could understand what they're saying. And now I
yeah.
kind of feel like everyone's mumbling and being all gruffy into the mic for no reason. They're like, I'm like, yo, I don't want to hear my drunk uncle, bro. I'm okay. You
Oh
know,
man.
so I'm not really liking it. But I'll download music and I learn how to DJ it for a party. But since I don't have to DJ it right now, I'm not downloading it. I'm just looking through house music
Okay.
because I like I told you, I'm gonna do an online DJ show, and I think I'm gonna call it Rust Off,
Rust
the
off?
Rust Off
Why?
show, to get the rust off these hands, man. It's been a while since I've
Oh
spun.
my goodness gracious, Lois. Wow, that was a nice dad joke. Definitely appreciate that. Nice dad
No,
joke.
because you know what it is? It's one of those things where, like I even want to do a logo of a can and everything, like a WD-40, um, for the icon for it, just because I just kind of think it's very funny, you know.
Yeah.
But like people are like Rust Off. All right, whatever, you know.
What I'm watching right now is this movie called Antlers. It's actually on HBO Max right now. Have you heard of that one, Lois?
Actually, Kira and I were gonna watch it last night, but then we were both way too tired. I saw the trailer. It's it's a Del Toro movie. All right, so you know it's gonna be
Yes.
scary as shit, and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to shit my pants, bro.
Me and my girl recently I came across it by accident. I was on HBO Max. We were trying to find something to watch. And then I just saw this movie Antlers on there. I was like, Antlers? Like, what the heck is that about? I figured it was just some corny, stupid movie, whatever. I watched the trailer for this movie and it blew my mind. I was like, holy crap, what is this? Trailers nowadays, dude, are I feel like we're getting better trailers than some movies that we're getting now. The trailer was amazing.
You know why
Um,
though, right?
why is that?
Because now there are companies that specialize just in trailers.
Oh yeah. I thought that was always a thing though. Wasn't that always a thing, or was it just like a
No, now
person?
there's actually more and more companies popping up. Currently, there are 40 companies that do trailers, just
Wow.
trailers.
Interesting.
And some filmmakers are linking with these companies early, so these companies can ask the filmmakers to shoot specific shots for the trailer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, well, it is a good movie. I'm not going to give any spoilers. It's fairly new, and plus you haven't seen it yet. Great movie. Very, very intense, very dark, very gritty, very bloody. So it is definitely not for the weak at heart. It's a good little popcorn flick. It's not anything that's probably not going to wow you or anything like that, but it was a good watch. I liked it.
Plus, that has Felicity in it.
Oh, that yes, I forgot about Felicity. Good catch.
Yeah, she's
I used
Felicity.
to I used to watch that show actually.
I never watched that show.
Don't tell anybody else that, guys.
I never
Um
watched that. Like as soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, I don't want to watch it. I don't want
um
to watch it.
as far as what I'm playing, I'm currently playing Sifu. It's pretty much think if you were to take a Jackie Chan video game and then add some elements of like the Dark Souls games. I don't know if you heard of like any of the Dark Souls games, and just put that into a video game. This is pretty much what you have. So you're playing, you're playing a guy, or girl. I think you could pick male or female in this game. And
Is there a trailer for the game?
yeah, I'll actually pull that up for you right now. Actually, um, so you're pretty much playing a person who's going through a revenge story. Somebody in this person's life dies. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything for this one either. Somebody dies, and you're pretty much getting revenge on a person that killed that person in your life. And you play through the game as you die, and you replay the stage again. You get older. So every time you die and you come back and play again, you get older. And the game ends when you turn 70. Really interesting premise. Really interesting
Really?
premise. Yeah, really interesting. I think it's on the. I know it's on the PS5. I'm not sure if it's on the PS4. Actually, yes, it is on the PS4. Um, the combat in this game is solid. Probably the best combat I think I've ever experienced in a video game to date. The karate mechanics is so freaking smooth. Um, there's even a stage that reminds me of what's that movie we talked about in the action movie tournament? The Raid. There's a
Oh, the
there's a
raid. Okay.
the Raid. Yeah, there's a level in this game that reminds me of Raid Redemption. You're fighting in this hallway and you're going through countless enemies, and it's I swear it feels like you're playing a karate movie. It's amazing. The art style is cool. Um, the story is okay. It lacks in comparison to the fighting mechanics. Um, but it's just a really interesting perspective, especially for the simple fact that each time you die, you get older, and as you get older, you gain certain abilities as well as losing some abilities. Like you might get stronger, but you might be slower. Um, Great game. I love it. It's really hard. It's really, really difficult. So if you're up for a challenge, I would say definitely check out Sifu. I haven't beat it yet. I'm only like maybe a few hours in, but right now I'm freaking loving it. It's pretty good.
Uh, since we were talking about Japan, did you ever finish the other one? What the hell was it called again? The samurai movie, the samurai game that we were both playing.
We're not gonna talk about that right now, Lewis.
That's all right. I didn't
Um,
finish it either. I'm
what
literally up to the last battle, and I still haven't finished it yet. They've taken the last castle, and I haven't done it yet.
for reference, Los has been getting on me about not finishing Ghost of Tsushima. We
Hmm.
both started around the same time, and he keeps getting on me about not finishing it. It's honestly, man, I have gaming ADD. I do. It's a problem. I need to see somebody for it. I start playing a game, a new game comes out, and then I'm like, look, a shiny new thing over there. And then I'm like, I'm going to play that game, or my backlog just keeps growing. It's a problem. I have an issue. I need to see someone for it though.
Yeah, that and your oh, I gotta watch that movie. I'll add it to my list.
Too much content, man. Too much content.
Okay, just so the people know, you wanted to do a Batman spoiler cast, and I said I'll do it when you catch up with some of the movies
Oh
that's in your
yeah.
backlog, because I really don't want to see Twinkle Batman.
Chat, we need to get Los to watch the Batman. It comes out in 2 weeks, and I'm trying to get Los to do a other Batman spoiler cast. Everybody knows I'm the biggest Batman fan around. I can't not do a Batman spoiler cast, and I don't want to do it by myself. Los, come on, man.
Bro, I still haven't watched the Joker because I
Uh,
don't like, and it's not that I don't like the actor. It's just that I don't think he's good for the role.
let's jump into our show notes here, man. Um, so let me see. Here we go. All right. So the first thing I want to jump into is Kevin Feige has said that there will be no more Avengers movies. How do you feel about that, Los?
I think that's stupid.
Wow, I didn't expect that from you.
I think it's absolutely stupid because here's the thing: the thing about Avengers is they constantly had a changing roster, right?
Okay.
And with that changing roster, you can actually have more, um, not only more high stakes movies. You can start the whole process over of, oh, let's work together as a team again, or you have certain Avengers who work together as a team, um, the new Captain America, right?
Yeah.
And Bucky, they work well together.
Yeah.
The new Hawkeye, like she could be the odd man out.
Yeah.
Um, and you can keep Wanda Maximoff. You can add Spider-Man to it. Like there's an opportunity to make it um first the fumbling team and then a great team to defeat somebody. I think it's a very bad idea. Then
I was
by also doing that, you also don't allow the young Avengers to happen.
Yeah, very true. I thought we were aiming for that. I mean, at least I think that's just what the community assumed. They never came out and said, "Hey, we're going to be leading up, we're going to be preparing for the Young Avengers." But with everything that's happening right now, it kind of looks like they were aiming for that. You know what I mean? It's really weird. Beaky in chat says, because if there won't be any Avenger films, then what's the point of introducing all these new Marvel characters and X-Men and Fantastic Four characters?
Well, to
Yeah.
introduce the X-Men, you now have a new team-based movie, the X-Men. To introduce the Fantastic Four, you now have another team-based movie, Fantastic Four. But the way the Disney Plus shows were going, it kind of seemed like they're trying to make a new Avengers team. Maybe what Feige meant was there will be no new Avengers in the theaters, but there will be on television. Maybe that's what he meant.
Maybe. I mean, because yeah, you can kind of read that many different ways. I mean, I do kind of find it weird that there won't be another Avengers movie because, like you said, like the point of the Avengers movie was to add some drama to the whole team. You know, have a reason for the team to form and meet each other and come together for a big situation that was happening. Like that, like the Avengers movie was something we look forward to. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like all the other Avengers films, all the other Marvel movies were like the appetizer, maybe like a little treat or dessert. And the Avengers films was the meal. Like we looked forward to that. You know what I mean? And being that we don't have that ultra climatic situation where we can get all the characters together, it's like, how are these movies gonna feel now? Is it just gonna be, oh, here's a random Hawkeye movie for no reason? Okay,
Yeah.
is that leading into anything? Oh, here's a random WandaVision TV show that's not gonna lead to anything. All right, so what's happening from that? You know what I mean? It's like we look forward to that. That was one of the reasons why at the end of the films we were looking forward to the end credit scene, because the end credit scene was a piece of the puzzle that was adding to the bigger puzzle. So it's like, since we don't have that bigger puzzle now, I mean, yeah, granted, we're going to get great stories, we're going to get great characters, but what's going to be the ultimate climax of all of this? Is it just going to be nothing?
The other thing too is with the Avengers, you had like although people looked at Iron Man as the leader, he never was the leader. It was Cap. Cap was always the one calling the shots. Cap was the one always doing the strategy and everything else, you know? Um, so part of the fun of a new Avengers movie would be to see who actually becomes the leader. Will it be the Sam Wilson Captain America? Or will it be Bucky? Or will it be somebody else? Like, you don't know. And part of that is kind of the fun of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was even kind of teased in the most recent Eternals movie, where one of the characters was like, oh, since Iron Man's gone, who's going to lead the Avengers now? What
Yeah.
was the point of that line if there's not going to be any more Avengers? I don't know. I feel like there's a loophole in there. We'll probably see them, but like you say, it'll just be like the Young Avengers. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll still come back.
Maybe. The other thing is, too, I would like to see a non combatant be the leader. Is that what I'm trying to say? Like
Kind
maybe
of like
it's
a
Happy.
Professor X.
No, maybe it's Happy being the leader of the Avengers and he's calling all the shots looking at monitors.
Yeah,
You
true.
know, I would like to see something like that too, because that would be different too. Something that you don't really see in the Avengers,
Yeah,
you know.
I can
Or
see that.
you can always turn around and just make it Nick Fury calling the shots.
Nick Fury was kind of like the man behind the scene that was always calling the shots, but it didn't seem like he was calling the shots, but he really was.
No, Nick Fury was calling the missions, but he wasn't calling the shots. Because boots on the ground, Cap was in charge.
Yeah, true. BK in chat says, in my personal opinion, I can see Peter Parker being the leader.
I
What
would
do you?
love to see him as the leader, but I think he'll more be the mentor slash leader of young Avengers because he'll be a little older than everybody else and a lot more experienced.
Hmm. Yeah, true. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see like where these next wave of films like what they lead to. I feel like each character is probably just gonna have their own climactic story.
Yeah.
I guess it's cool, but I don't know. After having 10 years of all this drama going on with the characters and having Avengers being the ultimate bookend for most of these stories, we kind of got used to that. And I guess they kind of want to get away from that. They kind of want to do things differently. So I'm guessing that's why they don't want to do the Avengers films anymore. All right, so we're gonna pivot a little bit with this one. Um, So this is a topic that you brought up, Los, about Facebook possibly going bankrupt. Give us some backstory on this.
Meta, as Facebook is now called, which is Facebook, Instagram, um, and like a couple other companies there. What happens is a lot of their money is earned from advertising, and they would get this advertising because on your iPhone, you used to be Facebook was used to be able to spy on you to see what you were searching for, looking at, and things like that, and direct advertising towards you. So then that way, um, you could tell Facebook, okay, I want this demographic from this area for all my advertising. And they're like, oh, yeah, we know exactly who that is. And they would put their ads just to that. But when the iPhone, when Apple said, listen, things are going to be different now. Now, we're going to let people know you're spying on them. And if they don't want you to spy on them, they have the option to not let you spy on them. And they lost billions of dollars over that. And now
Wow.
Android, Google recently announced that they're going to do the same thing. So where are they going to get their information from? They could literally go belly up. You're looking at the end of Meta, the beginning of the end of Meta.
How much money did they lose? I think it was billions, right?
Billions. And what the sad part is, right? What's his name? The one who owns
Zuckerberg?
Facebook? What's his name?
Zuckerberg?
Zuckerberg. He went from the 12th richest person to the 19th richest person, losing billions.
So, do you think that just because this happened, Facebook losing billions because of this change, this privacy change, do you think that's enough to sway them to possibly lean to bankruptcy? Or is it just like or is it just like the beginning of the end?
It's the beginning of the end because Android now is going to do the same thing. So if
Interesting.
Android does that too, where are they getting the information from? They're not getting the information from anywhere. So when you advertise, you're like, oh yeah, I want, adult males 30 to 40 in my advertising. They're
Yeah.
going to be like, we don't know who they are.
Yeah. True. Because
So you can do a blanket advertising for this much more money, or we can just guess and hope that you get people coming in.
yeah, because that's how they make their money, man.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to be able to get that advertising, yeah, that could be an issue for Meta, man. It could be a really big issue for Meta going into the future.
Not only that, people are starting to leave Instagram in droves for TikTok because there's too much advertising on Instagram.
The advertising is insane on Instagram. I will admit it's crazy. Like I'll talk about something right now on the podcast, and then when I get off the podcast, go on Instagram, what I talked about pops up. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like I'm talking about it. I'm not searching it. I'm literally having a conversation with another human being, and it pops up on Instagram. I'm like,
Yep.
where is that? Where's the mic besides this one?
No, it's literally using your telephone microphone.
Oh yeah, true. So
And it's fine.
even though on your iPhone, when it has like the little green button that says your audio is being used, even though that green button's not on, you can still possibly be recorded.
Yeah, you have to go into your privacy settings and shut off all this stuff, and then they can't spy on you anymore.
You're gonna have to tell me how to do that.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to send me that so I can make sure I do that because I'm tired of having it. Like it's so weird. It's creepy having a conversation with somebody, not on the phone, face to face, and then the same thing you talk about pops up in some kind of promotion on your Facebook or your Instagram page. It's crazy, or your email.
There was a news article released about 2 or 3 years ago where this reporter who doesn't own any animals, he told his wife about Facebook spying on us, and she goes, no, that's not true. He goes, watch, every 20 minutes I'm going to say kitty litter, and by tonight when we jump online, we're going to have advertising about kitty litter. And sure enough, they had advertising about kitty litter because he mentioned it so many times.
Wow.
Then his wife was like, oh my God, they're spying on us. Yes, they are.
I
And
mean,
if you
that's
have an
why
Echo at home, guess what? They're spying on you too.
I have an Apple. What's the name at home? So they're probably spying on me from that. The Apple.
The
What do you?
HomePod?
The HomePod. Yeah. They're
The
probably
HomePod
spying
is
on.
not as bad.
No? Okay.
No, because Apple's huge on their privacy. Apple has fought the government about privacy. The
Oh,
government's like,
okay.
we need you to unlock this. We're like, they're like, sorry, we believe in people's privacy.
Yeah. Yeah, that is like the biggest thing that they tout during their press conferences, during their commercials, everything. Like every press conference Apple gets, has one of the number one things they talk about is privacy.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into our last topic before we get out of here, because your boys got to go soon. Um, Black culture in film. As you guys already know, it's Black History Month. We're gonna jump into some film talk about Black filmmakers, actors, and talk about their impact on film over the years. Um,
I actually would like to start because I have an interesting fact.
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, let me pull this up. Okay. The first um, independent producer of more than 44 black films directed by a black man was in, I think the first one was 1919 by a man called Oscar, forgive me because the last name is French,
Okay.
Michaud, Michaeux.
Okay.
Um, he did 44 films and they all spread from different themes. His first film was in 1919 called The Homesteader, and his last film was called The Betrayal in 1948. The man was also a very well known author.
Interesting. Interesting. Good random fact right there.
And the thing about it is, I mean, it's, 1919, like things were not very good for anyone of color back then.
Yeah, it really wasn't. That's actually really surprising. Actually,
And the
I didn't
man was
even.
born in 1884.
Wow, that's interesting. I think for me, the main story for me that impacted me the most when it came to filmmaking and someone of color being in film is it kind of revolves around a genre that I love, which is horror, which is the 1968 film Night of the Living Dead, which is I think that didn't that go into like the
The
Hall of
Library of
Fame?
Congress.
Yeah, the Library of Congress. What was it in the Library of Congress for? Just like the impact of the film in general,
Yes.
or okay,
The impact of the film and its historical value.
okay, yeah, we had I think it was the first I think it was the first film where a black actor was the lead role, I believe, right? I think that's what they were saying with this film. I
Was
think
it or was it? Because
I
Sidney Poitier also did a lot of films in the 50s too. But I don't know if he was lead, other than in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which also wound up at the Library of Congress.
yeah, I think this one. Let me see. When did this movie come out? Night of the Living Dead, 1968. So yeah, maybe Sidney Poitier was the first one. I mean, but I know I did hear a lot of talk about I think his name was Dewan Jones. Dewan Jones was the first, supposedly the first black actor to be in a lead role, and for 1968, that was kind of a big deal. That was definitely a big deal. He was the lead role. He was pretty much running the shots in the film, and during that time, that was very unheard of, basically. So, and Night of the Living Dead was a classic, man, freaking classic for that time. That was a
Well, the
classic.
thing is, too, also don't, I mean, these are the people who were openly black, because there was a lot of people who were passing as white who had a big film career. And it happened more with women than it did with men.
Yeah,
There were a lot of famous actors in the early part of Hollywood who they would whitewash. They would say, okay, yeah, you're Mexican, but you could pass for white, so we're going to dye your hair blonde and we're going to say you're white. And the same thing with a lot of black actors who could pass for white, and they let them pass for whites for them to have a career. So, and that is something that's not talked about often. Passing. So, it really should be stated about someone who's openly embracing who they are and being a star and being everything else. Because some people got by passing because at that time that was the only way they really could get somewhere.
yeah, yeah. True. I
There was
mean,
this lady on TikTok recently.
Mm.
who just found out that her grandmother was black. She literally thought the whole time she was white because her grandmother passed as a white woman. And if you see this woman who talked
Oh,
about it on TikTok, blonde hair, blue eyes, you'd never ever believe she has any African ancestry, but she does because her grandmother passed for white. And back then, it was more common than people thought. You know,
interesting. I
I mean,
never thought
back
about it
then,
that
think
way.
about it. Like, you and I would have to drink from the same water fountain, but Fern might be able to get away with the white people's water fountain. You know what I'm trying to say? Because he's paler than us.
Yeah.
And it was just a very, very bad time in American history. But one of the ways a lot of minorities, especially African Americans, did was they were able to express themselves in film. And not only was it a unique expression, a unique point of view, it became super influential when it comes later on in films. In the 70s, all the black exploitation films became things that people would watch to add into their action films, to see who the cool guy was, and try to have their actors adopt some of that attitude and movement and everything else. So black films really is so important in ways that people do not realize, you know. Um and it's something that if people learn the history of it, people will be very surprised by it.
Hmm. Good point. Good point. On that note, what would you consider either some of your favorite black films or directors or actors over the years?
Um Mario Van Peebles, senior and junior.
Interesting
Um
pick. Interesting pick.
yeah, Mario Van Peebles Jr. Um I feel like he kind of fell off the wagon, you know,
Yeah.
where his best film is New Jack City, but it was also, I believe it was his first film or first major film. And then he just kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah.
Whereas Mario Van Peebles Sr. stayed very much in a niche market, but he dominated his niche market.
Yeah.
Um, for me, it is more eras of film that are more important. Like I said, for me, it was all the black exploitation films, where so much so that I think it was 10 years ago or 12 years ago, they made Black Dynamite. Do you remember that movie?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that.
And it was an imitation of the black exploitation films.
Yeah.
And I used to watch those films, and I'm Gonna Get You Sucker imitated that also. It
Yeah.
was so influential that Eddie Murphy did that movie about one of the most famous directors um, of black exploitation films. Do you remember?
No, what movie was that?
Hold on, give me 1 second.
IMDb. I choose
Yep.
you. Our favorite tool, chat. Our favorite tool
Yeah,
is
we
is
seriously need to
IMDb.
get a sponsorship from them
Yeah.
because we mention them in every podcast.
Literally. Literally every podcast we mention IMDb.
Give me a second.
Well, I mean, while you look that up, I mean, I would definitely
Dolomite
say
is my name.
Dolomite is my
Dolomite.
name.
Yes.
Sounds familiar. I don't remember that one off the top of my head. I have to look that one up real quick.
Uh, Dolomite was about, oh God, what was his name? Rudy Ray Moore. Rudy Ray Moore was a comedian and filmmaker. He was a failure in almost everything he did in his life, and then he just decided, I'm gonna make movies because movies make money. I think
Yeah.
he saw Shaft or something, and then he was like, I'm gonna do it. And so then he turned around and made like 3 movies
Yeah.
with Dolomite. And they're terribly shot, terribly edited. What a bizarre story in them, you
Yeah.
know? Like the martial arts in them is completely not believable.
Awful. Yeah.
But it's one of these movies that it's so bad it's good.
Yeah.
And people loved his film. And so many people say that he's one of his influences.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
think of Shaft, like the Shaft was done well though. And Dolomite was that. Like that is a movie you need to watch to learn a little more about black filmmaking history.
I think for me, the thing that stands out to me the most is some of the black actors. As a kid growing up watching a lot of Eddie Murphy, which I've talked about Eddie Murphy a lot on this podcast. that was big for me. You know, as a kid growing up in the hood, I know a certain type of people that I'm around in the hood. They're, you know, they carry themselves a certain type of way. And then seeing Eddie Murphy on the big screen, kicking ass, you know, being a cop, being somebody that saves the day, saving the world, and Golden Child, things like that. That was very inspirational to me. So to see a black man on the screen doing more besides stuff that we're known to be stereotyped for was really big for me. So for me growing up, Eddie Murphy was a major inspiration. He was the reason why I even thought about being an actor. So for me, like seeing black actors really take things to the next level was big for me. Denzel Washington is another one. His strong, powerful performances in so many of his earlier movies really grabbed me. You know, he's probably one of my favorite actors of all time, just because he's just an amazing actor. He believes in his craft. He took his craft serious, and a lot of times, like in like the early days of the of like filmmaking, and for like when it comes to like the 80s and 90s, some of the roles that, like you said, that black people get casted for, they're very stereotype casts. And I feel like a lot of actors like Denzel kind of broke down that wall and saying, listen, I don't have to just be the black guy in a film. I can be somebody that can carry this film. You know, I can be somebody that actually can make a statement in a film. So guys like Eddie Murphy, guys like Denzel are were like an inspiration for me, you know, coming up as far as like watching black films.
And for me, it was more stuff in the 70s
Yeah.
because I got a chance to sort of see these films when they came out. I got a chance to see these films on VHS and stuff like that. And as funny as Eddie Murphy was, Eddie Murphy to me was just another actor. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because for me, Eddie
I feel
Murphy
you.
was just this funny guy. A lot of times when an actor has like one marketable skill, it kind of um, makes them more approachable to other people. And I think Eddie Murphy's humor like pushed past the racism and everything else. And for me, Eddie Murphy was just another actor. You know, another comedian. Denzel, on the other hand, was this huge, powerful presence.
Yeah.
You know, um, but I had Sidney Poitier to look at before Denzel.
Yeah.
As Sidney Poitier is the exact same thing, a very powerful presence. Everything about him.
Yeah.
He did this movie in 1990 called Sneakers. You ever heard of it?
Ah, I remember that movie. I haven't seen it in so long, but I do remember that movie. Yeah.
And he played a character that's very unlike what he's mostly played. And even
Mm,
still, he's the best part of the film.
yeah.
You know, so for me, Sidney Poitier was the actor I thought of way before I thought of anyone else.
Well, what's your opinion on the state of black films
I think
going
in
forward?
100 years there'll be no more quote unquote black films. I think in 100 years it'll just be a film. I think the more and more things are just being integrated, and less are you seeing a individualized movie. Is that what I'm trying to say?
So
Like
do you think, let's say for example, the hype that everybody's having right now for Black Panther 2, a lot of black folks are getting super excited about Black Panther 2. It's something that we can be excited about, we can look forward to. Do you see that dying down? Do you see that becoming a norm to the point where there's no need to get excited about it because it's the norm now?
in 100 years, in a
Okay.
100 years, we're far off from that.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand, now we're at the point where a black man or woman can get up on stage, accept their Oscar, give a speech as an equal. While as the first black woman to win an Oscar wasn't allowed to do it on stage.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes. In Gone with the Wind, the lady who played you know, unfortunately, this is the term that they use, the mammy character, the black woman who took care of Scarlett. She won
Yeah.
an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. She was not allowed to go on stage and accept her Oscar. Fast forward
Wow.
100 years, Halle Berry is accepting it on stage.
That's why that was really big. That's why
Yes,
that was huge. That was huge.
absolutely huge.
Well, side tangent on that real quick, or side note. Do you feel some kind of way that it took Halle Berry to be practically a prostitute, and Denzel to be a crooked cop? Do you feel some kind of way that it took them to be that kind of character to win an Oscar compared
Um,
to all of the powerful roles that Denzel has played over the years? He got nothing for any of those roles, but it took him to play a crooked cop. It took Halle Berry to be a prostitute.
yes and no. Um, Halle Berry, absolutely. I think that's completely unfair. But I believe with Denzel, it was just happened to be where that's who the character was. I kind of feel that his performance in that could not be ignored by anyone. And I feel like that's the reason why he was noticed. Unfortunately, the role was of a crooked cop, but I
Yeah,
feel like that is something that he was so powerful that everybody stood and took notice.
yeah. Good point.
Um,
Good
but
point.
I also feel like that is a rare situation. You see what I'm trying to say? Like it was just a rare situation that a bad guy won the Oscar. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I just kind of feel like Halle Berry, yeah, that was unfortunate how that happened, but I think with Denzel, it was just his performance was so powerful you couldn't ignore, and just unfortunately, it was that of a bad cop.
Interesting. Yeah, because I know that that was a big thing during that time. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, why did they have to play these characters to get that, award, et cetera, et cetera."
Yeah,
But I get it. I mean, granted, they do have it. They both are amazing actors and actresses. They will definitely go down as legends. Um, I don't know. I mean, to answer my own question, I think we are in a great state as far as black films. I think we will get to the point where it won't just be black film. I think right now the reason why we consider it that is because we're people of color are just excited to see more representation. That's why I said a lot of people are looking forward to Black Panther 2, because even though we have Blade and other superhero movies that have black people in it, just everything that's happened over the years as far as like the riots and things that happen, with like the police beatings, et cetera, we're excited to see somebody of color get on screen and do something kick ass. You know what I mean? Like we're excited to be represented. So we're excited about that. We look forward to stuff like that. Um and for example, Jordan Peele, I love what he's doing as well. Um with his weird, mysterious horror movies. Some people might call me crazy for thinking that he could be possibly the new age Hitchcock. You might hate me for saying that. Um
I don't think anyone could be a Hitchcock. I believe he could be a Spielberg, but I don't think he could be a Hitchcock.
why
And the
not?
reason why is at the top, the point in history where Hitchcock came. Understand?
Okay.
Like what made Hitchcock so great is that he did things no one else did. At this point in film history, no, we've done it all. You know what I'm trying to say? So I feel like he could be a Spielberg in the sense of like have hit after hit after hit after hit after hit and be influential and people look up to him and people idolize him, people imitate him. But I think he could never be a Hitchcock because of the time in history that Hitchcock was. But he could definitely be a Spielberg.
I think we're in a great state with black filmmakers, and I'm interested to see what the future looks like. I'm interested to see what my boy Jordan Peele is gonna do. I'm loving a lot of his work right now. He has a new movie coming out called Nope, which is we got a teaser trailer for it. We have no idea what it's about, but I'm intrigued. I think it's about aliens. Have you seen it
Uh,
yet?
no, no, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
I do have two questions for you. Okay.
Okay.
Um, what do you think of John Singleton and his films? Um, and then I'll go on to the next director.
Um, that man in chat says, "Yo's KJ and Dad." How's it going, Dead Man? How you doing, buddy? Appreciate you
What's
stopping
up,
by.
Deadman?
Um, John Singleton. I grew up on a lot of John Singleton films. What Boys in the Hood? I think he did Menace to Society as well. I think.
I believe so.
Um, John Singleton was very man. It for me being a young kid seeing John Singleton films, he really captured the urban environment in a lot of films. I grew up in a lot of rough neighborhoods, so his films were very powerful, very powerful. I liked him as a director. I felt like he was kind of like in his own lane where like those were the films that he made, that's what he was good at. And I would have liked to have seen him do more, experiment more, but that's just what he was good at. He was good at making those black films about being in the urban environment, basically.
Well,
So,
my thing is, he did certain things a lot of people didn't realize. Like, remember the music video for "Remember the Time"?
oh,
They were in
Michael Jackson,
Egypt.
yeah, yeah.
John Singleton.
Really? That was him?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
There was a movie called Four Brothers. I don't know if you remember that one.
I do remember that one. That was a good one.
John Singleton. He also had horrible movies like Poetic Justice.
You thought Poetic Justice was horrible?
That's
All
the
right,
one with
well,
Tupac and
okay. It wasn't it wasn't
Jen. Oh
amazing,
God, it
but
was terrible.
I didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was watchable. I didn't think it was terrible though.
No, that movie was terrible.
This comes from the guy that doesn't want to watch Batman, chat.
Yeah.
Um,
He also did the reboot of Shaft, which I thought was
I wasn't that crazy about it. I didn't really like it, to be honest with you.
He also did Too Fast, Too Furious.
Oh yeah, you're right. John Singleton did do that. I completely forgot about that. You're right. He did do Too Fast, Too Furious. I
I
didn't
think
I didn't like
I
that.
think his movies went from, again, early in his career, excellent, but I felt like as his career went on, it just kind of died out. Um, you
Yeah,
know,
I agree.
I
I
think he
agree.
got burnt out. What the problem was.
Probably. I mean, hands down. I mean, I would have to say, out of all his movies, Boys in the Hood is probably my favorite movie from John Singleton. It's just everybody knows that movie. Everybody
Yeah.
knows that movie. It's so impactful. It's ingrained in pop culture. Um, I don't know. For me, John Singleton, a lot of his stuff was a hit or miss for me. There was a few that I like. There was a few that I hated. I hated Too Fast, Too Furious. I thought it was a horrible movie.
Oh, it was
Um,
absolutely terrible.
it was, yeah, it was freaking horrible. I guess that was him trying to experiment with different genres and just
No, I
something.
honestly believe it was him trying to expand his horizons.
Yeah, that too.
Because
That too.
you have to understand, back then he was known as the black director, understand?
Yeah, he was.
And he's like, I can do more. And so he did Too Fast, Too Furious. Okay.
Yeah,
If that movie wasn't part of the franchise, I think people would have accepted it more.
probably. Yes, I would agree. There are a lot of movies like that where like people try to jump into these franchises and try to make it their own. And a lot of times, I'm like, man, if that movie didn't have that title, I would look at it differently. You know what I mean? And I think
Absolutely.
Too Fast, Too Furious is one of those movies. If it was just called Car Movie, I would have looked at it differently. But because you had Too Fast, Too Furious, because you had the Fast and Furious name tag to it, it's just like you have a certain expectation,
If
and
it
it
was
didn't.
just called Tokyo Drift,
But it's
right?
not it. But it's in Miami.
No, if it was called Tokyo Drift and they added oh, what's his name again at the end as a cameo?
Oh, Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel at the end, I think it would have been perfect.
Oh
But
yeah,
because it was too fast, too furious, and too much of a formula change, I think that was the problem with it.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I mean, John Singleton would definitely go down as one of the best black directors of all time. He was very influential in his work. Like I say, he has some misses here and there, but he's definitely going to go down as a legend for sure.
All right. And my last one, and a director that I don't like very much,
Okay.
Spike Lee.
Oh, I gotta bow down to that guy. I love that guy.
I don't.
Okay, why do you not
I
like
don't.
Spike Lee? In chat,
Do the
let
right
me know.
thing. Do the right thing. Amazing. Malcolm X, flawless. She's Gotta Have It was pretty okay. After that, I can't think of any movie of his that I enjoyed.
I mean, all right, so I guess I have to step back on my statement. A lot of his early work I loved. Anything late 90s and beyond, once again, just like John Singleton, a lot of it was kind of a hit or miss with me. But I did like a lot of his earlier work that he did. Do the Right Thing, once again, another classic. She's Gotta Have It. I loved it. Did you see that She's Gotta Have It Netflix show?
No,
It was
I
actually
didn't
pretty
even know
good.
there was one.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, there was a She's Gotta Have It Netflix show. I watched like 1 or 2 episodes. Haven't finished it yet, but it was interesting. It was
Well,
okay.
maybe Jungle Fever was his last good movie.
Oh, Jungle Fever was a good one too. I forgot about that one. Jungle
Yeah.
Fever was a good one too. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think as he got a little older, just his style changed. He tried a lot of different things. Um, because just like John Singleton, he was known as the black director, and he got to a point where he tried like action movies and like things like that. He tried to play around with different things. So
And music videos, a lot of music videos.
a lot of music videos, yeah. So I mean, Spike Lee, like I said, I liked a lot of his earlier work. He'll definitely go down as one of the best directors that we've had in my generation and your generation. So I liked him. I thought he was good.
Not me. I think the problem with Spike Lee is he just believed his hype, and after a certain point, he was just doing that, you know. And I just kind of I didn't like it, you know. It's just his he has certain films that stand out and will be timeless, absolutely.
Of
But
course.
the further on I go in his career and his films and stuff, I'm not clicking with it. I'm not because see even in Do the Right Thing, where you have all these storylines happening at once, and there are certain characters that you love and certain characters that you hate, and he
Yeah.
was making all the statements like with the rings, love,
Yeah.
hate, yeah, like all of that connected, all of that felt like something. And
Yeah.
then later on, it just didn't feel like. And Malcolm X was just flawless. Like you connected with every part of it, but
Yes. I forgot about Malcolm
it's
X.
just certain parts of it were just not there. Like Bamboozled. Do you remember that movie?
Bamboozled. I I don't remember that one. I don't think I remember that one. I have to look
Yeah.
that up.
Um, it's this movie about blackface, and I just couldn't. I just didn't like it. I just felt it was more statement than movie.
Okay.
You know, as instead of letting the movie make the statement, it was more statement than movie, and that's why I just didn't like it.
I realized one thing with like directors, when it comes to them trying to be creative and trying to express their art, we have to a lot of times just realize that they're going to experiment, and we have to give them room to just put out some great art and give them room to put out some duds. He definitely put out a lot of duds. Was he the one that put out? I just thought of that movie and I completely forgot. Um, School Days. Spike
Yes,
Lee
he
did
put out
School
some
Days.
great.
I
Yeah,
loved School Days. School Days was interesting. Like it was almost like a Broadway, kind of like a Broadway musical that you watched. School Days was a classic. I freaking love that movie. So like I said, a lot of his earlier work was freaking amazing. It was different. It had a message. He was trying to say something. He got like his films were like in your face. It was like listen to what I have to say. Um,
yeah, but look at when he did Old Boy, a remake of a Japanese movie. Um, it was good, you know,
mhm.
but again, I there's something about it I couldn't connect with. Maybe it's just that there's a certain vibe that he projects that I can't connect with, or maybe it's just um, I prefer him as an independent filmmaker, or maybe it's just dumb luck that I haven't found any of his newer stuff since 2000 that I connect with.
I honestly, I would have to agree with you. I do prefer him as an independent filmmaker. I'd agree because that's when a lot of his work affected me in a different way compared to when he became, I guess, if you want to say mainstream. So
And
it just hit me differently.
like look at Kevin Smith. He's an actor where his view of Skewniverse with all the Jay and Silent Bob stuff, I connect with 100%.
Yeah.
But when he went to his horror movies, I was like, what kind of weed is this motherfucker smoking? Because this shit is way too bizarre.
Well, the one thing that I want to say before I get out of here, and it's kind of a recommendation. Let me see. It is on Apple TV Plus, The Tragedy of Macbeth. I haven't watched it yet. It is a Denzel led film by the studio A24, which is very different for that studio. That studio is usually known for doing like a lot of weird horror films.
Yeah.
This is The Tragedy of Macbeth. Obviously, it's like a Shakespearean tale that involves Denzel Washington, which is very different for him. I haven't watched it yet. It looks really interesting. The cinematography and the imagery in this film is jaw dropping. I would just say I would recommend to check it out. See if you guys might like it. I'm going to check it out. Maybe we could talk about it on the next podcast. I'm going to try to watch it this week.
Is the English in this Shakespearean English or is it modern English?
Shakespearean English. From what I heard from the trailer, and I even think Denzel is even speaking in the Shakespearean English too. So it's different. It's very different for him. So
Well, I believe Macbeth is supposed to be a Moor, so he's supposed to be black.
really,
Yeah, if memory serves correct. So even go back as far as Shakespeare, there was a lot more equality back then because people had more things to worry about than the stupidity of the color of your skin.
preach, let's preach.
Nah, dude, like, you know what? I can understand if you don't like somebody because they're greasy and dirty. Okay, that I can comprehend.
Yeah,
Okay? But I
exactly.
can't comprehend where like, oh, he's too dark or he's too light.
Yeah,
I can understand hating somebody because they can't drive. But that's on an individual person basis, not on like.
agreed. All right,
Sorry.
guys, we're gonna get out of here. I appreciate everybody who's watching the show live in chat. If you guys listen to the audio version, check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Twitch to watch us live. You can interact in the show. You can alter the show. Everybody who's watching us live, thank you for hanging out tonight. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/JHouze. If you guys want to support the podcast, help us keep the show going. It even goes towards just a cup of coffee to keep us energized,
Exactly.
and keep moving forward. We're going to have an upcoming project for our Patreon to support. We'll keep you guys on notice for that one. Other than that, we're getting out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Peace and chicken grease. Stay safe, guys, and we will catch you guys later.
Peace.